Hello, welcome to the 10th International Conference, the Austrian School of Economics in the 21st Century, done in person, thanks to the effort of all of you. And well, this is something I want to highlight in my opening remarks. My name, for those who don't know me, is Federico Fernandez. I am president of Fundación Internacional Bases in Argentina, and also I'm a senior fellow at the Austrian Economics Center here in Vienna, the two organizations that are very much involved in the organization of this conference, with the Austrian Center starting in 2019. I'll be part of this opening act with Dr. Ingo Friedrich, who I'll give the floor in a few minutes, with Dr. Barbara Coleman and Dr. Robert Hotzman, the governor of the central bank. I'm very honored and very happy to be sharing the stand with them. I want to be quick, but I want to highlight certain things. I try to make a list, not to forget anything, but you know, it always happens. Sorry if I forget to mention, but I want to mention certain things that I think have made this conference possible. As you know, let's say we live in interesting times that can be a blessing or a curse, depending on how you see it. And this conference and the organization of this event reminded me a lot to the first Austrian Economics Conference that we organized in 2006 back in Argentina, in Rosario, the home place of Che Guevara, by the way, and Lionel Messi as well. You pick, I suppose you are all for Che Guevara. And it was, in a way, that conference was an act of faith, because, well, we were way younger back then. Nothing like that has ever been done, neither in our city or in the country, probably not in the region. But we really wanted to do it, and we put our best effort to do it. But as I'm going to explain you, I mean, it's not only us who are the ones who are responsible for this to happen. And this conference, the 2021 Austrian Economics Conference, which is the 10th already and the second we do here at the Austrian National Bank in Vienna, is also, I think, an act of faith. But it's like a shared act of faith. It's not only us. Of course, I mean, we started planning this almost a year ago, in the middle of the lockdowns, saying, doing online events are great. It's a very powerful technology, but the possibility of seeing people face to face is not matched yet. We have always been very proud of the synergies that our conference has created, of people meeting here, having a coffee, listening to someone that you liked what they said, and have the opportunity to talk to them. And we wanted to regain that. So, you know, and we were thinking, yes, we're going to do that, and we were in the middle of the lockdowns. The second, that was, let's say, a great act of faith on that. After that, it came our great partners of the Austrian National Bank, who opened their place for us, told us, hey, let's try to do it this date. And without them and without their support, we could have even announced the conference. So we are extremely thankful, and we have a lot of gratitude for the central bank and for everything that has done here to host us. Then it came the leap of faith, let's say, of our keynote speakers, who we also use, let's say, as magnets to the conference, who basically, let's say, donated their time and faith, saying, yes, we're going to be there, if possible, announce us. The same with everyone who has organized special panels and special events. The Mises Institute from Poland, of course, the Mises Institute from the US, Brian McWilliams from the Lions of Liberty, who also committed a long time ago and said, I'm going there, whatever happens, I'll be in Vienna. And of course, all the pro-market environmentalist groups which are hosting a panel next week. And definitely, and I always want to emphasize this the most I can, everyone who devoted their time and energies to participate in this conference. Again, not knowing if the conference was going to take place, because that was 6 months ago. We were hopeful, but we really didn't know. And well, testimony of that is that many of those papers have been already edited and published on a book that, by the way, is available outside, that Barbara, Victoria Schmidt, and me edited. So again, thanks to everyone who really took their time and effort to see, okay, maybe we'll be able to do this. And the same as everyone has attended. Many people who have attended, many are from Austria, but many are from abroad. Some of them are even not from Europe, which makes it even extra harder to enter, to know exactly to which regulation you have to comply. So again, we are extremely thankful to that. And maybe I shouldn't mention this, but I think it's also extremely important, and I want to mention them by name. Of course, this conference would not have been possible without all the effort and the commitment of course, Barbara, but also of my colleagues from the Austrian Economics Center, Victoria Schmid and Brit Shia. Without them, we wouldn't be here, so that's great. In the end, I think the program reflects all this good energy and all this faith we put to organize this. I think we have great keynote speakers, a great program, amazing panels, and on top of that, a ceremony to celebrate the life and achievements of Dr. Professor Vukotic from Montenegro, from UDG. Thank you again for putting your trust and coming here, for being here to try to regain the real normal, not the new normal. And in exchange for your efforts, we hope we will offer you an opportunity for inspiration, meeting, and networking. Thank you very much. And I leave the floor to Dr. Ingo Friedrich from the European Economics Center.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Governor, Mrs. Vice President, Mr. Aufsichtsratsvorsitzender, I prepared a super speech in German. And I heard 10 minutes before I have to speak in English. So please apologize. I'll do some mixture, but especially the message is important, the Botschaft. Thank you for this invitation. Yes, I think the time of today is the best chosen moment for this conference because we have a lot of huge new challenges and at the same time a lot of old problems. How to manage all this? Okay, first question, is the European Central Bank, Madame Lagarde, you know her, Mr. Governor, only, is she able to change the interest rate alone? Without Japan, without England, without United Kingdom, it's the same, okay. And USA. The Fed, Mr. Jerome Powell, since months said, oh, we will start to change the interest rate. We will hire them. Read of yesterday. They decided the change of interest rate is a question of months. A question of months. So the markets are more powerful, offensichtlich, in this case, even of the Fed in Washington. Second, there's an old knowledge saying the more money is in the market, the more will come the danger of inflation. Oh, we see now higher rates, yes, you see it, 3%, 4%. For me as a German, it's unbelievable to have such high rates. In Argentina, it's not normal, 5% or something like this. Yeah. So experts say that's a single effect. It will change next year, it will be lower normal. Is it really a single effect? Corona, energy taxes, value tax was last year lower, okay. I feel some of this inflation rate will stay. Third, this explosion of prices of real estates all over the world. Will it stay or will this bubble burst? I was last week in Brussels, and my party is the European People's Party. You must know that's the most important party of Europe. European People's Party, Europäische Volkspartei. The socialists are in the European Parliament lower, smaller than we. Look, the Commission and the Parliament started to terminate their offices because due to home office, they don't need 1/3 of their offices rooms. So the price for a house, what I have to buy for the European People's Party, the price was lower than 2 years ago. Is this a trend, or is it only a side effect? All these questions are open and have to be think and so forth. The discussion, the political discussion, due to the social networks, is totally different than 5 or 10 years ago. These social networks send the messages, what are facts, what is scientific knowledge. Is it a possibility for the politicians that we, from the law, scientific, we know aus der Juristerei kennen wir den Begriff herrschende Lehrmeinung, prevailing doctrine. Is it possible that the politicians could react and look what is the prevailing doctrine, die herrschende Lehrmeinung, and then decide their decisions? But what about if the prevailing doctrine is changing? And all prevailing doctrines are, time by time, changing. What to do now? And where's my German? But it could be a help to orient the politics at this prevailing doctrine. But what about now vaccination? What about climate? And who decide and who define? This is now the prevailing doctrine. Is the prevailing doctrine twice vaccination, 3 times vaccination? Is the prevailing doctrine climate is influenced by mankind or is not influenced by mankind? So what is the prevailing doctrine? All this is very, very complicated for politicians, but they have to decide it by this. 5 and last one. In Germany, the government is changing. We had 5 frugal members of Europe in the currency discussion. The 3 northern countries and Austria and Germany. And now Germany is more or less away. So we only have 4 frugal members of the European Currency Union. Will this change the development? And even Weidmann goes back, so another not easy problem. Also, authoritarian, autoritäre Systeme, regimes are coming up, and democracy is in a little problem. From my feeling, the world more or less is like a big schoolyard, and a lot of Roughnecks are fighting against each other. Not with weapons, also auf Deutsch, wie ein großer Schulhof, eine Reihe von Raufbolden raufen ständig miteinander und es fehlt die Ordnung. Es sind Gott sei Dank keine Kriege, no wars, but it's a fight in this small, globalized world. So you see, we have a lot of problems to discuss, and I'm very happy that Barbara and the National Bank of Austria and you all are interested in this high-ranked expert round. All these problems, really, we are in a situation we have to look to save stability of the world. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure and privilege to see you all live. Thank you for coming. It's wonderful to have friends, like-minded, like-spirited individuals here with us at the Central Bank, at the Austrian Central Bank. Präsident Ingo Friedrich, Präsident Rolf von Hohenau, Diplom-Kaufmann Jäger, dear Federico, Your Excellencies, distinguished speakers, guests, dear partners, sponsors, co-hosts, but last and most important, Governor Holzmann, Professor Holzmann, because this is not only an academic conference, it's also a conference for intellectual entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs. People who think, people who act, people who pull the strings. And this is what is happening and what the Austrian school has always discussed and has provided. So it's a very important day for the Austrian school. 150 years ago, Karl Menger started out with his principles of economics, and he changed not only our lives, but he changed many, many students' lives and many generations of economists. And a gentleman who has pioneered and changed an entire part of Europe, namely the Balkans. Professor Veselin Vukotic will be honored tonight. And I'm very glad that you, dear Veselin, accepted the Hayek Lifetime Achievement Award 2021. So, as already mentioned by Dr. Friedrich, we are living in interesting times. We see all those COVID restrictions. We have geopolitical turbulences and tensions. We have climate issues. We have green finance, for example, green things that pop up all of a sudden. We have trade wars, and we also see a lockdown crisis. What would the Austrian school have said about that? And what are our answers? This will be discussed today. But what is important, we know Austrian economics is not mainstream economics, and it's our task to make it mainstream. It's individualism versus collectivism. It's theory of human action versus decision. It's business and capital. It's time and value. It's about action and knowledge. And finally, and most important, especially in this house, it's about money and credit. And the Austrian school has always made sure that we split monetary policy and fiscal policy, which is, unfortunately, these days, and this was already mentioned, put into one basket. And I'm very glad that our governor of the Austrian Central Bank is one of those people who really stick to those principles and saying and making sure that monetary policy stays independent and that we can be sure that what our Austrian tradition is famous for, namely what I already mentioned, those 4 points, money and credit, action and knowledge, time and value, business and capital, is discussed publicly, not only at the central bank, but especially at the ECB and in Frankfurt and many other places. So before finally giving the floor to our governor, Professor Holzmann, and our host of today and tomorrow here in these premises, I would like to thank our partners and mention them in name, because we believe in markets, we believe in entrepreneurship, we believe in individualism, and we believe in competition, and we believe also in personal responsibility. And there are individuals and companies and enterprises that feel responsible and that have helped us. And you can see their names on our banners there. But I just want to name them. It's the European Economic Senate. It's the Taxpayers Association of Europe. It's St. Stephan Capital. It's LGT Bank. It's Sparkassenverband Austria. It's AXA Investment Managers. It's 7M. It's RPR Private Foundation. It's GIS, Geopolitical Intelligence Service. So without their help and without their support, this conference, those 2.5 days here in Vienna would not be possible. But without further ado, I would simply hand over the floor to Professor Holzmann, because it's an academic conference. I refer to Professor Holzmann now. And he will talk about the national interest rate, the natural interest rate, or why policy rates are that low. And trust me, it will be surely enlightening for everybody. Thank you for joining, and once again, welcome to Vienna. Please enjoy the 2 days.